Hey, Wayne Atkinson here, and welcome to this presentation on how I turned £1,000 into £9,632 in under 6 weeks simply by betting on sports events. Now, I decided to put this together because friends and family were always asking me, how is that betting thing going on? So instead of just saying really good or going well, and then look at the yeah smirk on their face that they think I didn't see, I decided to pull back the curtain and explain exactly what I have been up to, show the results, and explain how you too can do the same. Whether you're someone who has never placed a bet before in your life, you have some interest in sports betting, or you are a regular at the bookies but just cannot seem to make it pay, then this presentation is for you. Maybe your only involvement in this industry is to stick a pin in the Grand National runners list and put £5 or £10 on it just for fun. This is for you too. So today I'm going to show you how to turn a profit betting on sports events without using any emotion in the selection process, no random betting patterns, i.e. £5 here, £10 there, and without using any so-called racing systems that have been handed down from generations and clearly don't work. So I'm going to explain how all this came about, how I use computer software and data analysis to pinpoint advantages in certain sporting events, and also explain a unique betting pattern that minimizes losses and protects winnings. Now, if you stick around till the end, I will also show you the actual selections I chose to bet on during that 5.5 week period, the betting patterns used due to the unique betting strategy, and how the profit grew during that period. But first, let's start with my primary goal for you today, which is to prove without a shadow of a doubt that everyone who watches this will understand that to make a profit from betting on sports events, you need to understand 3 important things. Number 1, it's so important to leave emotion at the door. Never ever have a betting strategy that uses emotion. For example, I like the colour of the jockey's cap, or this horse has the same name as your uncle's dog. Sounds crazy when you see it in writing, but so many people part with their money betting on selections that involve emotion. I will explain how we have removed 100% of human emotion and replaced it with our 4-year in development data analyzing and AI learning computer software. Number 2, have a good betting strategy. It is so important to have discipline when betting for profits. Never ever chase your losses. Never use erratic betting patterns, £5, £10, £50. In doing that, you are most likely to have a small amount on a winner and the big amount on a loss. This will destroy your chances of making your betting career pay. I will explain the strategy I used that protects you as you go. And number 3, so-called betting systems. You've seen them, you may even have used them, but ultimately they rarely ever work. And if they do, on occasion, produce a winner, the odds are usually too short to make any profit back for the losses it created earlier. Most rules-based systems never work and are only there to provide the bookie with your money. An example of a rules-based horse system is something like number 1, is it the favourite? And number 2, was it first, second or third last time it ran? Number 3, is it running within a certain amount of days? Etc, etc. Now, why these rules seem okay and some may actually have merit, what the rules-based systems cannot do is tell you that the favourite has never proven itself at the race distance, and or another horse in the race has ran this course before, only to finish second, but with much stronger opposition than what is in the race today. Therefore, You would bet on your rules-based system horse only to have it beaten by the outsider that was clearly selected for this race. I will explain how our AI system analyzes all past history of the runners in each race, identifying horses that have a distinct advantage, which in turn gives us the extra confidence to make our selections and turn a profit. So, why this is important to you now? Well, understanding these factors will change the way you think about betting moving forward. My hopes for you is that you no longer throw good money after bad, use outdated, non-working betting systems, and no longer attach any emotion to the whole process. If nothing else, you walk away from this video with these beliefs intact, then I am glad that you got value from our short time together. Now, I have always been interested in horse racing and how computers and software can aid in giving me an advantage. This led me to building a simple system approximately 15 years ago. That aided in calculating odds fast for a system that produced a lot of bets. Now, this system wasn't that complex, but speed of operation was key to making it work. Now, the human mind couldn't do the maths quick enough, especially if the races were only 5 minutes apart, and you had the added pressure of missing a bet, which made the human calculator so much worse. So to cut a long story short, the system worked perfectly. It allowed me to get the bets on at the correct betting amount, but of course, the system was based around a rules-based system to pick the horses, and so eventually we lost everything due to a massive losing run. Hence, why I'm so adamant about the use of so-called betting systems. So fast forward to today, and we now have a sophisticated engine that analyzes years of data, analyzes the current racing card, and pinpoints advantages that no human or paper-based system could ever do. It is this system that allowed me to turn £1,000 into £9,632 in just 5.5 weeks. Yes, that's £1,569.45 per week. Tax-free profits. By the way, before we get into that, please remove any distractions you may have open, such as Facebook or your phone. Please close them down, put your phone on silent, and let's continue. So, why should you listen to me? This is me. I'm 49 years old and an entrepreneur who lives in the United Kingdom. I've been a software developer and product designer for over 32 years and have a fascination with computers that started at a very young age. When I was 13, disassembling early computer games, the Sinclair ZX81, Spectrum, Commodore 64, I'm sure some of you remember those, was a big hobby of mine. This produced a taste and a flair for understanding computers. I guess I just had that whatever it is, that you need to be able to make computers do what you want them to do. So at the age of 18, having self-taught programming to a reasonable level, I applied for an assistant's job in the IT department of a local steel company. This turned out to be a very bold move, as it was around the time that the office environment were getting IBM PCs planted on their desks. They were starting to become a strong asset to the working world. I mean, back in the days of MS-DOS, I'm talking, well before Windows. So I quickly became part of the IT department and wrote many useful tools such as bonus systems and quotation systems. I was there 5 years before everyone was made redundant due to bad management decisions well higher up than my influence. But by this time, I had been supporting 5 companies around the UK. And so my manager and myself decided to combine strengths and form our own company. So at the age of 23, I became a director of my own software company. This new company developed many different software apps for all sorts of businesses. Anything from time and attendance to traceability systems for the fresh fruit industry. So around 2001, became interested in the sports betting world, in particular horse racing. And the combination of how I could merge my IT and software background together. So as I explained previously, I had already begun my path to creating tools to assist in the betting world. But of course, not all were successful. But some success meant more success was possible. So around 2009, I headed up a team that was to create a new system that used biometrics to read the vein patterns in your hands. This technology led us to build access control and weapons management systems. The technology was installed into many places around the world, from a villa in the south of France to a Tesco supermarket in the UK. The development of the weapons management led us to be working with the technology giant Fujitsu and the UK's London Metropolitan Police. Now, as you can see here, these are screenshots of me at the ACPO event demonstrating our technology to the Chief of Police and Associates. And there's a picture of me at the top demonstrating our Viper system, and the picture at the bottom is me talking about the Armory system. Since all that, I have moved into the internet marketing world and built many tools and network systems for that industry. In 2014, I designed and built the networking system Ultimate Lotologist. This was a lottery memorabilia site that also allowed you to promote and collect lottery instants. It was a very successful project and attracted many thousands of members. Maybe you yourself was a member of that. So amongst other tools and systems, it was around 2014 that the start of building software for the analysis of racing data continued. From the collecting of data to the analysis of it to the building of a complete system. It was inevitable that a breakthrough was on the horizon. After many versions, testing, and 4 years later, we are finally here. So, now that you know a little bit about my background, is this material and case study going to be relevant to you? If you like horse racing and are actively involved in it, then this is for you. If you want to know how to turn a profit from betting on sports events, then this is for you. If you are someone that likes to bet but is consistently propping up the bookies holiday fund, then this is definitely for you. Now, that being said, I do have some house rules before diving into the content. Firstly, I refuse to pander to anything that resembles or supports a get-rich-quick mentality. If you're looking for something that produces winners all day, every day, then that is just unrealistic. I mean, if every selection we make wins, then I'm sure I will be looked upon as something from Harry Potter and will probably be burnt at dawn. Even with the best systems in the world, we cannot produce winners after winners after winners. What we can do, though, is be smart with the betting and produce enough winners at decent prices that allow us to make profits. So, if you're someone that cannot understand this or deal with some bets losing, then this is not for you, and I would ask you to close down this page, and I wish you all the best. Still here, excellent. Then let me explain. So right now, I'm going to show you how I turned £1,000 into £9,632 in just 5.5 weeks, and how it will easily resonate to you that this is something that you can do also. So let's start by defining what is required in order to make that kind of transition happen. Obviously, you will need a starting bank, that goes without saying, but the amount is entirely up to you. Starting too small, say £50, will of course take you longer to make significant profits, as your bets will also be much smaller. I'm not saying it's not possible, but a realistic bank of £500 to £1,000 works well and has room for ups and downs. So back when I made this realization, I had a very different motivation that inspired me to start figuring this process out. Back in 2014, alongside figuring out sporting analysis software, I was also building systems for the internet marketing niche. And as usual, because I was involved, everyone wanted the systems to do everything and more. This led these systems to take what should have been months to build, only to take years. And not only the time aspect to build them, they had also drained me of any savings that I had due to business expenses and living costs. So I was borderline broke, had listened to other people when it came to what was required when building systems, which didn't turn out great. And I thought to myself, I've not spent over 30 years of my life in software and IT to not be in charge of my own destiny. There had to be a way. Did I want to continue on the path of client finding and jumping to their every whim? Or did I want to continue a passion that would ultimately lead me to a way of making money that meant I didn't have to speak to anyone at all? If I didn't want to, that is. Now, the betting market has been around for hundreds of years. If anything, it's only getting stronger and easier to do from the comfort of your home. According to the Gambling Commission, as of September 2017, the industry is worth £13.9 billion. There are 8,532 betting shops in the UK and over 560 bookmakers are now online. So, the three things that resonated with me are: number one, we will never be in a situation where we cannot get a bet placed. Even if your bet is quite big, you can break it down into multiples of smaller bets and use different bookmakers. Number two, with the smallest of advantages, I could make this pay. All I needed was to ensure most of my winners have odds that are greater than even money. Number three, bet smart and have a plan that protects you. Of course, before all this, I had tried all sorts of things. Multiple racing systems, betting patterns, chasing losses. Yeah, that was a bad one. Only to get back to a place where the bookie seems to always win. So I thought to myself, was I cut out for this? Was I ever going to make it work? I'm sure you can relate to this, and I have to tell you, there's a reason. The bookmakers have created and fine-tuned their books so that they win. Yes, they compile the odds to give themselves the advantage. So let's be honest, if they didn't, then they would have gone out of business a long time ago, and betting would not be as mainstream as it is today, unless you can build in an advantage. One that over time will give you the edge to swing the odds in your favour. And of course, if you can't do that, then you will most likely have been slayed by the bookie over and over. So this advantage has to be masterminded into your betting strategy, and most will never find out how. So don't be hard on yourself. This advantage is not common knowledge. You have to seek it out, which is what you have done here today, and I think you're going to be glad that you did. So I continued developing and experimenting for the next 4 years to come up with something that would give me the advantage I was looking for. Although I hated the thought of giving money to the bookie and my constant failure at making it pay, I hated the fact of being broke or having to speak to numerous clients in a more traditional business. I hated that more. So I had a choice. Either I had to figure out a way to build in the advantage that I needed, or I had to give up and continue in the world of pushy clients and a life I simply didn't enjoy. Then, eventually, after many thousands of software developing hours and data analysis, I came up with a solution that was giving me the advantage I required. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that if I could predict the potential winner of a race, then I will have the answer I am looking for. Now, the reality of this is, of course, another thing, but if I can look through years of data, cross-reference the history of every runner in the day's racing against each other, and also examine the quality of all previous runners' opponents, then I would end up with a way of rating the horse's chance of winning. Now, if this isn't enough, we have to throw in things like the going, what was the ground like at the time of previous races, age of horse, how old was the horse and how old is it now, course and distance, have the horses proven themselves at the venue and at the distance, and this is before we throw into the mix trainers and jockeys. So the only way is to develop a system that can do such analysis and do it fast enough that it can produce enough data that can be used to forecast a racing card every day. I took on the challenge, developed many versions of the software, and eventually I had a version that could give me the advantage I was looking for. Now, I must say, I was trying to build what some people would call the impossible. But being the perfectionist I am, I was always looking for more, and tweaking and turning the code in order to find what I thought I needed, when eventually the penny dropped. All I needed was to be able to swing the advantage just slightly in my favour, and I knew it would be enough to make it work. When I realised this, everything changed for me. I had now created a system that informs me of hidden abilities in horses that no other punter or bookie could ever know. This gave me the advantage I was looking for, and of course, this advantage can now be true for you too. Now you're wondering, does it really work? Well, the answer is yes. And it works because the software, in combination with a simple but effective betting strategy, allows us to grow at a steady pace. Sometimes we have big gains, which is great, and sometimes we close the day on a loss, but you can go at a pace that suits your means. I now look at it like playing the stock market. We even have a chart that plots the closing balance of each day. One thing to think about though is every day is a new day, new races, new horses. So a not so good yesterday has no effect on the excellent day you could have tomorrow. And it's way more fun than the stock market. And if you want, you can actually watch the races on TV or visit the venue in person. You can't do that with the stock market. So, as promised, let me show you the actual selections and how it all played out. But first, let me explain to you the betting strategy I came up with. As you can see here, we have a grid of ranges and percentages. These define how much to bet dependent on the balance of your bank. So, if you start with a bank of £500, you can see the percentage to bet I have set at 10%. And as your bank grows, you can see how the percentage changes. Now, this grid shows you what percentages I was betting when placing my bets. And the key here for me was once I got to £4,000 and over, I adjusted the bank down to start betting 8%. This is the start of me protecting the bank, but still allows me to bet in similar sizes. Example, at £4,000, 10% is £400. At £5,000, 8% is still £400. But now, effectively protecting £100 each time we have a bet, thus keeping more of my bank intact. Now, as we grow more and more, you can see I reduce the percentage each time, more aggressively than before, in order to really protect the bank and start to grow profits very predictably. So you can see here we've got 7% when we hit a range of 5,000 to 6,000. We reduce it to 6% when we go to up to 7,000, and 4% when we go up to 8,000. And when your bank's at 9,000, we drop the percentage to 3%, and so on. You can see we go to 2% and then we go to 1%. So feel free to take this, adjust it for your own purposes, but this is what I used, and let me show you now how it played out. So here are the first selections that the system produced. We started with a bank of £1,000 and we started betting according to our betting range, 10% of that pot on every one. So the first one, as you can see here, was called Out in Order. We put £100 on it, and unfortunately it lost. Now, it did actually get suggested that we bet it each way, and it did actually become placed. So you would have got your money back and maybe a small profit because it was decent odds. Now, what we've found is the system produces a lot more money if you bet everything to win. So in this example, everything was bet to win. So any each way placements was down as a loss. So on that, you can see that the first one was suggested in each way, and it did get placed. But because we bet to win, it's registered as a loss. So our first one was a loss. Now, as you can see on the 19th, the system suggested these three selections. Le Bravido, Roaring Lion, Emirati. Now, the first two lost, and you can see we were betting 10% of 900. So we've got £90, and it was a loss. And then we bet another 10% of the 900, and that lost as well. So we're down to 720 on our second day. Now, as you can see, Emirati was odds on, but it won. So we'll bank that £32.40, which puts us to £752. Now on the 20th, we had Kazar, and it was 3-1, and it won. And that put £225 back in the bank. So now we're starting to look good. But then, unfortunately, we had a loss. But on the same day, we had another win at 15-8, which produced £141. So now we're in profit. So as I mentioned earlier, they're not all going to win. But as you can see, the advantage of these big odds that the system produces gets us back into profit. Here there was an 11-1, unfortunately it pulled up. There's another one each way placed, which we register as a loss. And then we had one that was even money as a win, 9.30. And then here the system produced a very nice 11-2 winner. We'd got £93 on it and produced £511 in winnings. We're now on £1,442.27. And then as you can see, I won't detail every single one, but you can see these are the exact results. We had a loss, and then we had a win at 6-1. I mean, look at this, 6-1, producing £700 in profits. We're now at £1,869. Then on the same day, it produced a third, which is a loss. But then on the very same day, it created a 5-2 winner and a 6-4 winner, putting over £500 again in the pot. So on the close of just the first 17 bets, we've got £2,219.66. Now we move on to page 2, and as you can see, we've got Sailing Home came second, so that's a loss. And then on the 30th, we got 2 seconds again. Unfortunate that they came second, so they register as a loss. Then on the 1st, we had a winner at 4-11, which produced us £57.53. I mean, some of you might be thinking, well, that's pretty odds on. But when you're betting £159 on it, because so that's 10% of this bank, it's giving us £57 profit. We're going to take that very nicely, thank you. And then we've got an unplaced, a third, a fifth, an unplaced, a fifth. Unfortunate there, we had some losses, put us down, and we're now lost our profit. But don't worry, the system will prevail. So we go on to have a 6-4 winner, and if I just go down here, you can see we had a 7-2, a 7-4, and then the system produced another extraordinary selection at 11-2, which put £755 back in the bank. So now we're back to £2,370. We then had a loss, we then had a win. This win here is immense because it's 15-2, but 10% of £2,000. So we're putting £237 on it, and it gave us £1,777 back in profit. So now our bank is at nearly £4,000. I mean, let's just look at this one, another bat. This is the kind of advantage that the system pulls out. It analyzes everything and it realizes that, hey, the bookies have missed this. This is a strong horse. It analyzes it, it pinpoints it, and it tells us that we should back it. And as you can see here, we came up lovely. So we'll continue. We've got Time to Study, which lost. And then we've got Birch Vale, which won. It was odds on, but we still claimed the £140, which put our end of this page to 3,660. So let's move on to our third page. And we'll just go down these quite quickly. I think you've got the drift. We've got a loss, a loss, a loss, a loss, a loss, a loss. And you think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in a row. we've lost our pot. 3,000 down to 1,700. But what the system does is it pinpoints a 4 to 1, which won. And then down here we've got a loss. Then 11 to 8, 2 to 7. And then we had a loss. And then we had a 5 to 1. So we're quickly back. And with more, we're up to 3.5 grand here. We've got a loss, and then we've got a winner and a winner. Now here you can see, because we're now on 3,000 and we're betting 10%, we're putting 322 on an 11 to 4, and we're getting £886 back. So we're now at 4 grand. And here traditional dancer was suggested by the system at 10 to 3, and we've got £322 on it, produced us 1,073 in profits. We're now at 5 grand. And then we had a loss, and then we had a win, and then we had 2 losses. But we still closed out this page at £4,441.95. So we move on to our next page. And we've got a third, a win, which is a nice win, 11 to 4, £892 profit. We then got a loss, a loss, a loss, a loss. Now, as I said before, you've got to appreciate that the system, they are flesh and blood at the end of the day. It won't pick, everyone cannot be a winner, but because it pinpoints the advantage, you can see how quickly the pot's increasing. No emotion involved. You just let the system produce what it believes to be the strongest selections, and then we back them. We don't put any more emotion into it. We just do what the system tells us to do. Now there we had a loss, but there we had 2 winners on the bounce. Then we had 2 losses, but then this here, the system was throwing up some tremendous winners here. We had an 11 to 8, which produced £457 profit. We then straight after, we had a 5 to 2, which gave us 829 in profit. It then produced an 11 to 4, which gave us 912. We then had a 6 to 4, which gave us 497. And then we had another winner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bounce, a 4 to 1 with £410 on, produced 1,642 in profit. We're now at 8.5 grand almost. Then we had a loss, then we had a win, and you can see we've closed out this page at 8.5 grand. So let's move on to our last selection, which ends the 5.5 weeks. You can see we've got a loss, a loss, a loss, and then it produced, this is what the system is good at. You might get disappointed that you had 3 losses, but then it pulls a 7 to 1 winner out, and you've got £245 on it, giving you £1,700 in profit. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this 8, this £900 loss was just replaced with £800 more in the same day almost. Amazing. £9,404 now we're at. We then had a winner, a loss, another loss, and then another 4 to 1 winner. Now we're now at £9,700. We then had 2 losers, and then we ended on a winner, which gave us £310, which then produced the figure that this is all about, the £9,632.56 in 5.5 weeks. What's in place here is also the betting strategy ranges that I came up with, where we reduce the percentage when the bank gets bigger. And you can see here at the close of the 26th, we had 9,512 in our bank. Now 10% of that would be £951. But as you can see, we only bet 190, and we're betting 2% now of our bank now that we've got to 9,500, and that of course protects the bank. We're growing nicely with bets at £190. This one lost, but you can see here that the £190, even at 13 to 8, still gave us £310 profit to put back in the bank. So in reducing the betting percentage, it protects this nice bank that we've made. It's going to take a very, very long time of many, many losses in a row to reduce this down to nothing. In fact, practically impossible due to the sliding scale percentages that we've used. Now, here is the graph that I mentioned before, and what this does is it plots the closing balance of every day. And you can see, a bit like the stock market, you can see that we started here and it went down and it went up and it went down. You can see at the end of every day exactly how much you've made or how much you've lost. And you can see that it started to climb nicely in May, up it went. Then we had some losses. Obviously we had some winners and losses together, but it reduced slowly back down to 2000. But then the system kicked in nicely, gave us up to 5,000. Ups and downs, and then there where you saw all those lovely winners over a period of 3 days, which put us into over £9,000. And then at this point the betting percentage was reduced, which protected the bank, and now we're on plain sailing. So what if you knew how to do this? Well, you now have the betting strategy I came up with that minimises losses and protects winnings. So please take this and run with it. And now that you've seen how effective it is, I'm sure you will never put random money on a bet ever again. Also, you have just seen with your own eyes that I used the very same strategy to turn £1,000 into £9,632 in a very short period of time. But of course, I have now worked out my advantage that gives me the edge with my selections. So the question is, where do you go from here? Of course, you too can do this. All you need to do is spend years working out how to analyze enormous amounts of data, have access to servers to enable the number crunching at a speed that allows for daily results, and of course, spend years learning IT and software development, or employ an expert at great cost so that you can build it all and get it working. And remember, I've spent my entire life around IT, computers, and software development, and it still took me 4 years to get to this point. But was it worth it? Absolutely. Working out the advantage has enabled me to get results like I just showed you. And more importantly, I no longer have to take jobs from pushy clients if I don't want to. But 4 years is a long time, I get it, and I'm guessing that you may not be a software developer or into IT that much, and if you are, you probably don't have the time or the inclination to take on a task so potentially daunting. So that's why I have built all of this into a service that will shorten that 4-year learning curve into 0. It will enable you to start as quickly as today, because you too can now get the very same selections that my computer system produces, giving you the very same advantage that I have. So here's how we're going to do that. Let me introduce to you FairOptions. So called because the betting market has so many options, but now clearly you can see we offer the fairest of those options. FairOptions is a complete solution geared up to deliver to you the very same sporting selections that my 4-year in development computer system generates every day in order to give you the advantage you need to build profits. You will get access to your very own account at FairOptions. The information is emailed to you in good time, usually between 8 AM and 9 AM UK time. And if for any reason you aren't able to receive your email, although smartphones today are all email enabled, you can also opt to get your information as SMS messages sent direct to your phone. Results can also be enabled, and once the events are over, these too can be sent to you via email and or SMS. Track your progress. Inside your account, you will have your very own area to keep track of your progress. Each of the day's selections can be easily added and the betting outcome of each selection kept alongside. This enables you to see your betting balance at all times. We also have a referral program. We are sure that you will want to tell your friends and colleagues about FairOptions. So we have built in an affiliate program. If you tell someone about FairOptions and they go on to open an account, then you will be rewarded with a commission for doing so. There are many tools inside to help you do this. which you can learn about once you have access to your account. There are reports. You will have access to your very own reports and graphs that show you how you should be doing if you are following the system as explained. The graph plots your progress at the close of each day, keeping you informed of your balance at all times. And of course, support for questions is at your fingertips, as included inside the members area is a support ticket system. And don't worry, nothing is techie or difficult to use. If you can read email, surf the web, and watch this presentation, then you will do just fine. Oh yes, and if you have one of these, then you can do this. Alexa, open FairOptions.
Welcome to FairOptions.
Send yesterday's results.
3:25 p.m. Yarmouth, Sean OKC, number 1, 1. 3:55 p.m. Yarmouth, Bailarico, number 6, 1. 2:40 p.m. Warwick, Black Sambella, number 5, 1. 3:15 p.m. Warwick, Sister Sybil, number 5, 1. 5:35 p.m. Southwell, Freestone Hill, number 4, non-runner.
You can very easily link your Alexa device to your FairOptions account, and all the information can be retrieved just by asking Alexa. Yes, it's voodoo magic, but also really cool. So today you're sitting here watching this video. You've seen the case study that proves this strategy works like crazy, and by now I'm sure it's abundantly clear that joining FairOptions will be one of the best decisions you've ever made. So if you're ready to get more winners and build profits by using the FairOptions generated advantage, here's how to get started. As quick as you can set up your new account, you will be up and running, ready to receive your selections each and every day. But I know what's on your mind. What about the price? So taking into consideration the amount of years this has taken to build, the computer processing costs, the servers, the software development, the data acquisition, not to mention the mental time spent on perfecting the solution, I feel that a price in the order of £200 to £300 per month is fair and not out of the question for what you are about to get. But the fact that you are still here watching this means that you are serious and are ready to get started. So here's what I'm going to do. Besides building systems and solving problems, my other passion in life is helping others to achieve better things in life. And if you are willing to invest in yourself today, I'm willing to invest in you. In fact, I'm going to significantly slash the price of entry into FairOptions. During this launch period, I'm going to offer you today full entry into the system for the small price of just £59 per month. You saw the case study and what was achieved in just 5.5 weeks, so I'm asking, would you invest just £59 per month to acquire that ability? I certainly hope so. Now, with that being said, there is one small catch. I'm not sure how long I can keep this price as low as it is, but I'm doing it because I want to help you, and it is the special launch period to the general public of the FairOptions service. As the membership grows, I may have to raise the price in order to keep the service secluded and not open it to the masses. Now, decisiveness is a trait shared by all successful entrepreneurs. Simply put, you cannot make a money profiting decision while sitting on a fence. So I want you to get off the fence and decide to change your future. Hence the no-brainer special launch entry price. So here's how to get started. Below this video, you will see this button. Yes, I want instant access now. So start here by clicking that button. That will take you to a checkout page where you can enter your contact information and your credit or debit card information. Then once you have checked out, you will be taken to an account creation page where you can set up your FairOptions account. And that will look something like this. This is where you will be entering your details, your username, your password, etc. And then once the form has been filled in, please click the button create my account. You will then be sent an email containing all the links that you need to verify your account, and once you've done that, you will be able to log in and get started. So, at this point, you've watched this entire presentation. You've seen how we turned £1,000 into £9,632 in just 5.5 weeks, and it's clear that joining FairOptions today will set you on your journey into doing the same. So, I'd like to invite you one last time to become a member of FairOptions by clicking the button below and checking out on the payment page that follows. And that being said, I thank you for watching this presentation, and I'll look forward to welcoming you into the members area.